Hello everyone, and welcome back to Norland, and our World of War series on the channel. And in the last episode, we dealt with a number of outlaws, things like the Ragged Ones and a bandit attack on our city, and now we're currently just waiting to go ahead and take control of this abandoned city up here, but we need a decent lord first, so not too much going on. However, I am thinking that we are probably going to be hiring these Tanea prisoners that we currently have. They do have some injuries and things like that, but hopefully they would improve our army just a little bit. But I think for right now we'll go ahead and keep them in the workforce just because we do need these extra jobs and things like that. And we really need to get a little bit more lumber. We also need to keep bolstering our flour stores and things like that. So we're probably going to be attacking Camp of Forest Bandits soon as well to start stacking up a little bit more weapons. We're probably going to need those if Lisbon decides to attack us again. But otherwise, we are just kind of doing our waiting game as we've been doing quite a bit recently. Okay, so Sekra seems to be getting less and less done every day. We may have to move Dana over to most of her instructions, but at least for now, I think we're going to go ahead and keep it. She did officially become elderly as well, so she's going to start getting slower as well, which is going to make it a lot harder for her to reach all of her destinations every day. I think what we're going to do, actually, we're going to send her over to Paris if we can. And I'm going to be doing this, I won't show you guys necessarily every time, but we're going to be doing this to be in better relations here with Paris, which will be very, very good. Because the way that we're going to be setting up our vassals, we're going to be in a straight line towards them, and what that means is if we lose any one vassal, then we pretty much lose all of them, which isn't too great. Additionally, Emberfall is going to be getting attacked by Lisbon. We should be able to handle this, I think, but it is going to cause us some losses for sure, and we're going to almost certainly be needing these guys here, and it looks like they still have their wounds and things like that. We're just going to go ahead and hire them now. We only got 1 day of work out of them, but I think it's okay. And otherwise, once we get done with Paris, we'll probably be going to attack maybe this bandit camp or maybe this one because it gives us a nice bit of weapons in addition to the money. So that's going to be our next thing. We also have this letter. So hold on. Do not receive him. Okay, so this is one of those ones that they don't want us to actually allow into our city. I don't know if this was the one that was from before or if it's a different one, but either way, I don't see them hiding out in a bandit camp or anything like that, so there's probably nothing we can actually do about it at the moment. So now with Sekira actually being away from the city right now, and once she gets home probably needing some sleep, we're going to move a few things over to Dana, but only the things that are kind of far away that need a lot of travel time to get to, so we're going to switch her over to these lumber mills, and these ones are already hers. Let's see, is there anything else? I think she's already got all these fields. So maybe just these breweries, and that should be good. Okay, so Lisbon has sent its army to attack Emberfall. As you can see, it's actually a pretty weak one. I even think we could just attack them directly on the road and everything, but we will probably go to the village. I do just want to check out first, though, if we could just do it with like a force of around 10-ish. Go ahead, and apparently we are out of armors and things like that. So actually this is going to be a little bit more difficult just because of that. I'm going to go ahead and see maybe these guys are holding on to some of them. Yes, of course. Okay. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and clear this stuff out. Okay, so I think I took care of taking all of the weapons and armor off of people who are too low of combat to actually need them at the moment. So we'll go ahead, we'll set up our armors again on everybody, and we will give them mostly maces. We're getting a little closer on the mace done here. It will be quite nice to actually have that, but Sekiro will probably die not too long after we actually acquire it. I may go ahead and do a wise conversation just to hopefully try to pass that down. But either way, this looks good for the moment, so let's go ahead and just finish. Actually, hold on. Maybe we do 1 spear and 1 crossbow. That looks good. And this should hopefully be enough. Yeah, 77%. I like that. Okay, so let's go ahead, send our help, and this leaves us with a nice little force in case we do get any crime, although for some reason there has not really been much crime at all, which is a little surprising because we have a decent mood on everybody, but not anything too substantial, so I don't know if something's happening that's causing us to have no crime, but Either way, it hasn't been much of an issue in this gameplay. Okay, and we've made it over to Emberfall, and this is probably not going to be much of an issue. As you can see, the balance of power quite well in our favor. And we'll go ahead and just... Honestly, we can just wait for them to come over to us. We do have the one crossbowman, I think, so not really going to be too big of an issue if we just wait. It looks like they're actually moving relatively slowly as well. And they have no bowmen whatsoever. So all we really need to do, we'll just set this to protect archers, I suppose. And that is already damaging them quite substantially, just waiting for them here. There we go. And of course, Lucha Boy does have an axe now, which is actually quite nice, so easily cleaning them up. And there we go. Okay, so that knocks Lisbon down a step. Hopefully they will not bother us for a little while, but I think they probably will, because they really didn't lose too much there, but it did knock them down just a little bit. And it looks like there's some marauders moving across the map. Nothing too important there, though. Okay, so Lucha Boy did get home, and it does look like his mood is pretty high still. He probably needs to sleep, but he can just go ahead and do that later. We're going to go ahead and attack this camp of forest bandits right now. And we're going to go for this one just because it'll give us a little bit more weapons to resupply us, which we have been needing. We're going to go ahead and send a nice big army here because let's face it, we have a nice bit of forces that can stay home, so that's probably fine. We'll go ahead and give them the maximum amount of armor and weaponry and things like that. I'm not really too concerned about which weapons I send, as long as they all have them. That looks good. 69%. Nice. Okay, so as you can see, we got the flavorful ale enlightenment for Dana. I wasn't actually going to push for this anytime soon, but it is helpful because we have hops and we do have herbs as well, so we can actually create these. And the only problem, of course, is, you know, if we use up too many of them, but we do need some form of alcohol, so let's go ahead and let's just go for it. We're not able to really create much beer right now anyways, so we'll go for about 100. And we'll go ahead as well. Let's see. So we'll just take the beer off for now because we're not really making much of it anyways. Actually, we're not making any of it right now, I just realized. Huh. Well, we don't really have the rye, so that's pretty much why. Okay, so let's go ahead and set every day warriors, flavorful ale, and set that to max. And then we'll actually also go for it on peasants, I think. Yes. Okay, yeah, we'll go for it on the peasants as well. And same thing, max. Perfect. Now, this will actually give us a use for the brewery, which I totally forgot. We had it with workers this whole time, and there was actually nothing for them to do, which is kind of funny. Kind of a little humorous little mess up that I did, but either way, it's totally fine. We'll go ahead and start upgrading these as well. I'm not going to set them to build first, but just so that their production can get increased just a little bit later on. Okay, now it seems that Paris is going to get plundered by bandits. It's almost certainly going to be this one. So we're going to go ahead and take that out, and that should actually perfectly fix that. We could also just send like a tiny little force with Dana, but the problem with doing that is, well, then Dana won't be able to be home and doing inspections, so I'm not too sure if this is a great idea. But we will get the matriarch approval, and getting that plus 10 plus the extra relationship boost with Bogomil here would actually be quite nice. So we'll probably go ahead and take care of that once Luchavoy is done down here. And it appears that he is ready. So let's go ahead and just jump on in. There should be no problem whatsoever. Just run right on in. And we may go ahead and hit stay in the back. He's got a really, really strong combat and command skill though now. He has 64, so it's a little bit risky, especially since there's not too many melee people here, but it seems to be working out just fine. And no real issues to speak of. Nobody's even injured. I don't even see any of our armor on the ground, so working out perfectly. Only 4 captured though, but we did get the weapons, so that's the most important part. Now let's go ahead and immediately have him go and take care of this camp next. Okay, so I think we are going to send a little bit of a force here to Paris just to go ahead and get that matriarch relationship. So we'll go ahead and we'll have Dana go ahead, and we'll just send her with literally 1 soldier. There's no point in sending more. Now, in the meantime, we'll go ahead and start Sekra's inspections. We'll have her take over these lumber mills again, and probably these ones as well. I'm not thinking that we need to worry too much about the field, so this should be totally fine. Yes, she can just go ahead and take care of the lumber mills today. Okay, now we do have the trader for the first time in a little bit of a while, actually. I would like to keep, like I said in the last episode, I do want to keep enough salves to at least heal about half of our army, so we're not going to be able to sell too many of those, but as you can see, we are over the capacity on our resources, so we really need to get rid of a little bit of iron. I would like to get rid of more than this, but this seems to be, I don't really want to drop the price too much, so we'll just go until it drops down to 3, and otherwise there's not really too much for us to sell here, honestly. We could sell these prisoners, but I actually really want to keep them around for the work, so we're going to go ahead and hang on to them as well. We'll buy a couple of maces. I almost want to buy the bow, but we're going to hold off for now. We'll buy the flour, we'll buy the rye, and that looks to be all there. Let's just see if there's anything that looks really, really good as far as knowledge goes here, and I don't think so. We could even buy a few more prisoners here. We would probably want to go for cheap ones, but they're a little on the older side. We could go for this guy who is a Varn. He's pretty cheap as well. And otherwise, yeah, I think that's probably all for the moment. Now, as well, we did have a contract expire. I don't know which mercenary it was, but it looks like we could go ahead and take this Tanea. But then we have way more Taneas than we have Varns, so I think we're going to go ahead and wait until we find more strong Varn mercenaries. Okay, so some good news again, as we got to Paris and we got that +10 to the matriarch. I don't think this is going to affect us on anything from the trader, but we're going to go ahead and take a look really quick. Yeah, it doesn't... Well, we could just take the spears. Oh, and even shields. Actually, we don't really need to buy spears because we can get those from bandit camp, so we'll just go ahead and buy a bunch of these shields, honestly. That's 750, but I think that's actually quite worth it. Just because then we can protect ourselves better and hopefully lose less people. So I'm liking that idea. More good news for us, as Mace Stun has been finished learning by Sekra, and I don't even know what it put her on this time. Looks like scaffolding. Okay, we probably don't need that right now. But I don't know what we do need. Can she learn secret deals? No. Maybe just smelting furnace, start getting prepared for the weapon forge, even though she'll probably die before we can actually make use of that. And so we arrived at this bandit camp now, and we're just gonna go ahead and head on in and rush on in as well. And it looks like it's up to 11, which isn't too powerful. Looks like there is 2 axemen and a few bowmen, but should not be much of a problem. Especially for Lukevoy, who has become an absolutely amazing commander for us. And we'll go ahead and just watch and see. We got some XP, but nobody actually leveled up. So 2 captured, not the best. But we did get those weapons, and more importantly, we took care of a problem for Paris, and they should be quite happy with us now. Look at that. We have our first true friend. You'll love to see that. And I think that is probably where we're going to call it. Evermere is back up and running, and it looks like, who is this, London maybe, going to attack it? Let's see. Lisbon. Just Lisbon directly. Okay, that's fine. And they're reinforcing London right now. How interesting. I wonder if we could actually attack them on the road. We could, but we wouldn't probably win. So either way, that's probably going to be it for this episode. It looks like we're not getting very lucky as far as lords go. We may have to kind of press the issue somehow. Maybe even just take a marriage age noble, maybe? But I don't know how we'll do that because we can't marry them to Luchavoy. So I don't know. We're gonna have to figure that out. Hopefully we just get. And this is another person from Paris. This is actually their king. So yeah, I don't know why we're not getting any good lord candidates at the moment. But either way, we'll figure it out and we'll take care of this abandoned city. And you know, that's pretty much just what it is. We're building up our gold. We're building up our peasants again, and as well, we finally have a pretty sizable army. So that's definitely good for us. But either way, that's going to be it for this episode. So, as always, I thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.